To be to the tune of the Beatles tune, When I'm 64. Does anybody ever remember the Beatles? Okay, When I'm 64. Carolyn, we'll turn the time to you. Marion, you're a WII guy. We're glad to have you here with us as well. We want to have each one of the former students, 7 through 12 grade, give a brief summary of their reflections, feelings, or doings during the past years. We'll have each table come up one at a time. Take your places here along here. The students, only the students and former students. And because there are so many of us, the hour will become late. Please take no more than 1.5 minutes. I know some of you could take 45 minutes. But 1.5 minutes, and to help us with that, we have our good friend VJ take care of that for us. He's a disciplinary soul, and in 1.5 minutes he's going to go like this. That means when you hear the bell, it's time to sit down. You don't want to be rude to all the others that need to follow. So when 1.5 minutes is over, you'll hear the bell, and it will be time to move on to the next person. So we'd like to start with which table? This table right here. And a part of that is Sally Joyce, and she has a little report to make. We'll give her an extra minute. Go on to your left, right here at this table. Then we'll go to this table and around, okay? Members, class members, you come right up here and sit down, one at a time.
And we need the table to get up here already so that we don't wait. Coming up. Ariana, Jan, you guys come up to this table or up to the chairs already. Okay, I just want to tell you all how, what a trip down memory lane this has been for me to call everyone, to find you, to visit with you, and to get caught up in your lives and what you've been doing these last 50 years. And I want to thank you for your response in coming tonight and for your response in sending in your biographies and your photos. There are 5 of our class members that wanted to come but could not come because they are serving missions. And I wanted to share with you who those are and where they are serving. Liren Walker left July 1st to go to the Fiji Islands. And as a sidebar, he left 69 grandchildren at home. Claudia Porter extended her mission to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and consequently she does not return until September the 30th, so she missed it by extending. Janet Peterson is serving in Texas. Ann Simmons is serving a mission in Ohio, and Beverly Burrup Zimmerman is serving in Madrid, Spain, a temple mission. And I want to thank each of you for rubbing off on me. You've influenced me and made me who I am. Thank you.
Well, for those that don't remember me, my name is Tim Thomas. Let's see, my wife and I are going on a mission a month to San Diego.
Wow.
I'm very excited about that as well. I have spent most of my life here, and in my career I was a juvenile court judge. I'm sorry. I told Judge Paxman that he gave me a work assignment when I was 16, and I'd like to so much I could stay there for the next 40 years. We have lived here. We live in the same home we've been in for 33 years. We have 5 children and 13 grandchildren. And it's wonderful to see all of you again.
I'm Mary Ellen Stewart Jameson, and I have 2 comments I'd like to make. First one is a thank you, and the second comment is an apology. I've been teaching high schoolers for 26 years, and the last few years, many of my students have said, I can't wait to get out of high school. There's too much pressure. I hate high school. I can't wait to move on. So my thank you to you is I didn't want to lose one single minute of high school as we've done every single day, every single month, every single year, and it's because of the wonderful teachers we had and the wonderful friends that I made. So thank you very much for that. Now the apology. We wanted something very creative for our junior prom, and I had the idea that we should have a false ceiling made out of sagebrush. And so we went down to southern Utah and gathered all the sagebrush. We painted it. We created a false ceiling and had a wonderful dance, except you could start feeling things coming down from the ceiling. So I apologize for all of the ticks if any of you got one.
I'm Jan Sylvester, and I really liked going to BY High also. Very much, I enjoyed my high school years tremendously there. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to graduate. My parents moved us to Salt Lake City, and I actually graduated from Highland High School. But I still feel such a part of you guys, and just had to be here today. I spent a lot of time in Colorado after leaving Utah, and I had my own construction company, and I have asphalt, concrete, landscape, sprinkler system all over the Denver area. So I returned here to help with my mother. We moved to Arizona, and I've been in Arizona for the last 7 years. So, and I'm so happy to be here.
I'm Mary Beth Raines, and I was only here during my junior year, but it was going to be a memorable year for me because I came here from a small high school on the coast of Oregon, in which I was the only Mormon in my class. And to walk into this high school where all of you had had such a breadth of experience, and to be among other LDS people wasn't really a broadening experience for me that I think helped catalyze so much of the rest of my life. I left after my junior year. I actually had to thank the Carroll system for getting through a couple of years of math and English, and was able to actually skip my last year of high school because the little high school we moved to had no other senior subjects for me, and so I was assigned to a junior college district. So actually, I have a little bit of a thanks for that system. I'm a psychotherapist. I work full time. I don't have any plan to retire at the moment. I'm in Salt Lake City, and I really enjoy what I do. 3 children and 10 grandchildren, and so I have a very full life. Thank you all.
I'm Mike Royal, and I came here. My parents brought us here from South Carolina when I was 15. We stopped at the Hires or the A&W, whatever it was, in Springville on the way into town. Had 6 kids in a Plymouth station wagon with a U-Haul trailer. And Dad asked the car about what ward she was in. And she answered. And we, my sister and I were the only 2 Mormons in our high school where we came from. Since I was 15, about to be 16, that's where I came. They picked up and moved us here and arranged for us to attend BY High. What a blessing. What a great privilege, as well as a super good thing. Learning, training. The education was far beyond the class, and it was certainly a good thing for me to have the opportunity to associate with so many of you. Thank you.
My name is Jim Bankman. The last I worked as a police officer in Idaho Falls, 27 years, retired in 2000. I am now a private investigator.
I'm Brian Leonard. I thought I'd tell you how I got to be what I Closer? Yeah. My mother married my dad. She was young right out of high school, Monica. She had a scholarship to come to BYU, but they got married. She said, I'll raise a family, but I want to go to BYU. We lived on a farm where, actually, where the Payson Temple would be built right now. So the year I was a sophomore, she decided the next year to go to BYU. We moved to Provo. She enrolled at BYU. She had 3 sons, my 3 older brothers, also enrolled, or they were already at BYU. And she said, "You got to go to BYU." So I enrolled at BYU. That's how I got. So there was 4 of us. Her sons, you know, going to BYU totally in with her. That's how I came to it. Luckily, there was a lot of good people. And we played sports. We played a lot. They had a lot of activity. Thanks for everybody here. Courtney got an honor, took us to state championship, as you know. Thanks again. All your own.
Well, it seems like for many years I followed Brian. It's no different now. A couple of weeks ago, we were traveling, Marcia and I were traveling right across a small church. And on the marquee in front of the church was the saying, "All saints have a past and all sinners have a future." And I've thought about that quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, knowing that we were coming here. And I think you're all the saints. And thank goodness I'm a part of, somewhat of a small part of your past. And being able to enjoy that. I've always appreciated saying that I came from BYU, even after it closed. So it's been great. We are currently living and have lived for almost 40 years in Denver. And our children were born and raised there and still live there. We just figured that Brigham Young missed overshot by 500 miles. So it's delightful to see so many of you. I have wonderful memories of each of you. And thank you very much.
Les Brown. We came here today to see all our old friends, and we see a lot of their parents tonight. We're really excited to be here. This is an opportunity to visit and see so many of you. It's been a lot of years. Charlene and I moved to Provo in 1980, and have been here ever since. There are 5 girls. They're all made in 1992. We have great memories of BYU High School. I came to BYU High School probably as a result of George Taylor and Francis Rogers. We played ball together, and their parents were encouraging them to go to BYU High. She's got a good story.
No, I'm just going to tell how I came to BYU High because Dr. Barry S. is here tonight. I went on to Provo High for the fair, and I had the biggest crush on Charlie Floyd. I don't know if any of you remember him from BYU High. And he was in my ward. And I had dated him a little bit during the summer. And he came down to my house one evening after school, and he said, "Do you want to go to BYU High?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I've talked to Dr. Barry S. and he says if I bring you up, that he'll interview you." And Scotty Anderson was driving, and I got in the car and came up here and met Dr. Barry S. and he said, "Well, I can extend you an invitation to come to BYU High if you'd like to." And I said, "Yes." And I went home and I thought, what have I done? I had gone to school with these friends that I'd had since kindergarten. But I know now it was the right decision, and Heavenly Father was watching out for me, and I came to the right school, met the right man, met wonderful friends, and you have influenced my life greatly. All of you, and several of you I've watched over the years and seen how you've progressed and what you've done with your life, and I'm just proud to say that I was a classmate of yours and that I know you. And I want to tell Anna Jean Furman and all the teachers here that if I have one regret, like Mary Ellen said, is that I didn't listen better. And I think back and I'm telling my grandchildren what wonderful English teachers we had and the teachers that were here. And I said, oh, I wish that I had read and listened more. And I'm going through things.
Dave Clark was president. Sally Joyce was secretary. Janice Gerber was the social chair. Janice, who was the other social chair? I read this morning, 2 in the morning. I'll be more dutiful. I had a problem going to the junior prom. I was in charge of it. The problem was I didn't have a suit. When you come up from Nephi, you have a coat that you milk the cows in and a coat that you go do deer hunting, I guess. But anyway, I was talking to Ken about this, and he said, well, I'm not going. He said, why don't you take my suit? So Ken's brought his brand new suit he had never worn, and tie, and gave that to me the night of the junior prom, so that all those things could come down from the suit. That's what I found out. Good attendant. We ended up serving missions together in Florida, which was a blessing for me. One night we went tracking. I think it was the Arctic Circle that might have been there. We were sitting there with our malts, having a great visit. We were reminiscing back to things that we did at BY High School. I can't tell you the punchline. I will tell you the punchline. The punchline is something none of you probably know. Ken went to state with the discus throw. 140 pounds, and everybody else, he had taken third in the region. Everybody else weighed about 250. He had his first 2 tosses were terrible. It was raining, slippery, the whole circle was slippery. I'm almost sure. Now, where was I before that? Oh, yes. There was Chuck Peterson watching his son. He had one more throw. Chuck knew what to do. He jumped in his car and went down to Sugar House to Stevens Brown. Anyway, he bought Kent brand new shoes. Kent, what were they? Converse. But they had more adhesive to them.
barely made it back and came to make his last throw. He tossed the discus 142 feet and took first place in the state. Scott O'Leary, 140. That was the last DJ Washington on there. Anyway, I thought this was fun to know that experience in Canada. He and his dad, all of us around the pastors.
I'm Francis Rogers, and I've got a couple claims to fame. The first claim is marrying such a good wife. And second is having gone through junior high and high school with all of you. I remember on a debate team one time, George Taylor and I were in a tough debate. Looks like we were going to lose because they came up with some incredible quote. I had the finishing argument, and George looked over at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm writing a quote." I said, "You can't do that. I said, it's illegal, it's dishonest." And we won the debate with that quote. So I want to apologize to her. Anyway, some of my fondest memories are things that happened to me, a whole bunch of you during that period of time. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Gail LeBaron Christensen, and came to BY High just my senior year, homesick for Canada, and like Charlene said, sometimes you have great plans in life, and they're good plans, but Heavenly Father has a different plan, and He certainly had a different plan for me. Because of my year at BY High, we all never went back to Canada. My parents wouldn't leave a 16-year-old at BYU with roommates and go back. So our life changed, and I met my husband at BYU. We've been married almost 48 years. And again, that I never would have been at BYU, never would have met him. And it's just, it was a wonderful year at the school. That was the happiest time in my homesickness, was the hours that I spent at BY High. Loved the school, loved the students, loved the teachers, loved the classes, loved the spirit of the place. And I'm so grateful for that experience, and I love being an American even though I still love Canada.
I'm Ted Lee. I came to BY High from French schools, my affair junior high, and enjoyed every minute of BY High and every one of you, and especially the faculty. And I relinquish all the rest of my time to Brent.
I'm Beverly Redwoods. I should just give my time to Brent, but I have two things that I BY High. I came here in 7th grade. My brother Paul was a junior, and he showed me around. When I was a senior, I took a class with Mrs. Kane because all of my family had had her and said what a wonderful teacher she was. And so I wanted to find out. Well, when my mother went to the parent-teacher conference, she found out that I took this class and got very mad at me because I was supposed to take a math class instead of a history class. But I made the right choice. Thank you.
here having our picture taken because I was standing next to Peggy Crockett. And she and I spent a lot of time standing together up in the Red Rose music room. We spent a lot of time in that sextet together and some of the other music groups, and it just brought back so many memories. I was also thinking, and I won't say whose car this was, about one night a bunch of us were packed like clowns in somebody's car out by Bridal Falls, and we noticed that this semi was coming pretty darn close. And obviously we did get out of the way, but who was driving will remain unnamed, and who was also packed like clowns in that car will also remain unnamed. We really had some good times. When I came to BY High, it was my 4th school in 4 years, so it was really an intimidating experience, but it was a wonderful time to me. Mrs. Kane validated my reading the newspaper every day in current events. I always did, and I still do. I don't know what I'll do when I can't hold that paper in my hands anymore, because I love the newspaper. But it's so good to see all of you. And I was looking around, and there are a lot of you guys that you've all held hands with. You noticed that? And that was a nice memory, too.
I called Paul Van Wagner this morning. Paul really wanted to be here more than you know. He's almost been to his Parkinson's down in Houston. We compare notes about once a week. He sent a check for quite a few $100 to Sally Jones to pay for this. It's very good. Paul loves you. He asked me to send you this stuff.
Well, it's been such a wonderful experience to read about you and help send invitations and things. Brought back a lot of happy memories, and I'm grateful for the good influence you've had in my life, starting from when I used to babysit some of the Berryessa children. I will echo Ren's thoughts about Paul Manning. He really wanted to be here and has been very kind and generous, and we miss him as we miss all our friends that are getting old and crazy. And just want to say that life is precious. It's been wonderful to rub shoulders with you. Thank you.
I'm Judy John Kelch, and I started in kindergarten here. So I went through all the grades and enjoyed every minute of it, even those times I didn't want to get out of bed, but I still did, because, you know, we stayed up late. I don't, at least in my perspective, I don't think I would have turned out to be the woman I am today without rubbing shoulders with all of you and knowing your spirit and being able to take what we learned and go on in life and do wonderful, successful things. And we have 4 boys and daughter-in-laws and 6 grandchildren, 3 of each. And having grandma dates is the best thing in the world. Even though it costs you, dear, a lot of money, it's still a good thing. And it's been a pleasure for me to be here tonight with you. Thank you.
My name is Richard Bowen. I come from the northernmost part of Mexico. That's called California. We have the most leftist-leaning politicians in the world. But anyway, I've enjoyed living there. My wife and I spent all of our time here in California. My wife passed away a year ago, February, the day before Valentine's Day. So I always wear her on me as my special angel. But I want to tell you a couple of stories on a couple of people that I don't think are here tonight. Sylvia McAfee, wonderful young lady, but we took driver's education together. And we were out driving one day, and she was driving. All of a sudden, something caused her to panic, and she slammed the foot on the brake, and coming right behind us at full speed was a big semi-truck. As soon as he saw the brake lights come on, of course, he slams his brakes on. But he just couldn't stop like we are. We could just hear, and the instructor said, "Put your foot on the gas, put your foot on the gas." Well, I guess she did because we all made it. And I also, some of you may have remembered Richard Blackburn. Him and I were always in trouble because they always thought we were the ones that took the light that was supposed to be the shining beacon for those carrots, those cubicles that they had. I mean, yeah, I'd like to take, I'd like to have taken it all the time, but I didn't. But we were always in the principal's office. Now, where did you put that light? We didn't take it. Well, it's missing. You must have. No, we didn't. Thank you.
Rostov's not on a mission, so we're just kind of getting back into the swing of things. And this is a fine way to do it, in my estimation. I think back at all the fun we have, and I kind of forgot that we need to blame Mary Ellen for that junior prom decoration. Because I remember that the theme was Fascination and Flame. All of those sagebrush had to be painted red. And then we carefully got them up on the wires. It was too heavy, and down they came. So then we just decorated them around the edges. So thanks, Mary Ellen, for all that hard work. Anyway, it really was fun, and one of my fun memories was in the carols. One day, I don't remember who the teacher was, but they came in and said, "Everybody get to work, and I don't want to see any more heads walking around, above the carols." So the boys promptly got down on their hands, walked on their hands, and you could see their shoes, their feet, walking above the carols. Such fun. Wonderful to be with you tonight.
My name is Daryl Clay Mason. I'm happy to be here with you this evening. Sally Joyce tracked me down. I only spent 2 years with you, 7th and 8th grade, but I've run into many of you over the past 50 years. 7th and 8th grade was a unique experience. My claim to fame was that I was one of the 2 shortest people at BY Junior High School, me and Richard Hoops. I'm grateful also to James Mason, who is not here with us. I played trumpet in 7th and 8th grade and continued on through high school in Southern California. Grateful for that musical background and experience that I started with here at BY. Grateful for the opportunity I've had to meet with many of you over the years. I'm thankful for Carolyn used to be Paxman for bringing her parents here this evening. Brother and Sister Paxman, good friends of my folks for many years. Thank you once again for the opportunity to share the evening with you.
Well, this is definitely a home week for me since I get here hardly ever. I'm Meg Crockett. I have been living in California since 76, and I actually moved out there in 66. Mr. Webb and chorus and the sextet, of sharing a carol with Bev Red, of getting to know the whole gang of. I think we had the reputation of being undateable, but except for Janice Gerber, and getting good grades. I think Beverly Burrow was the one that got the best grades. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I remember being the first one on the trampoline to do the backflip. Mrs. Jonas told me how to jump up in the air and grab my knees, and it was wonderful. All kinds of crazy memories. Anyway, it's wonderful to see you all and be back.
I'm Marcia Nelson Ludlow, and I'm so pleased to be here tonight. Today is our 46th wedding anniversary, and what a wonderful way to celebrate. I think the very best thing I ever did was to marry my husband, Bob, so thank you, Bob. I have a lot of memories here, but I just really want to thank the committee. It took all the time and energy and effort to make this possible. It's just really a wonderful memory in itself, so thank you. Sally Joyce, really appreciate your kindness and all your effort. And I want to thank you for rubbing shoulders with you and being my friends. Thank you for being a blessing in my life.
Randy Kimball. I'm here with my wife Carol. It's very nice to be back here with all of you. Some of the things that I thought about was so great about going to BYU High School was, number one, it was a thing to do in my family. I had two brothers that preceded me. I had three other siblings that went behind me until BYU High closed in 1968. Also, the great privilege and blessing to be able to do some things that otherwise, having gone to Provo High School, I may have not. One of those was playing basketball because Nolan Conley was a Utah man, and I'm sure he would not recruit a Kimball. So, and that was also the great association I had with that basketball team. I'm glad to have Courtney here tonight. Great example to us. One of the things I just want to share with you, when we got back from playing ball games, he'd get up in front of the bus and he would say, "Now you know where you're supposed to be tomorrow." And this was a Saturday night. And not only that, David Addison made sure that we went to church. So some of those great associations. Being able to play in all three major sports was a great experience. But I think best of all is a smaller group of graduating class here than you'd have in a bigger high school. That way I came to know and love every one of you, and to also know the great talents and wonderful people that you are. Thank you so much for our association with you.
Well, I'm Ron Jorgensen, and I went to Fair Junior High with Charlene and Janice Peterson and some of those kids. The reason I came to BYU High is because of Jed Gibson. For 2 years, I tried to get Lon Collins, the coach at Fair Junior High, to let me run the BYU Invitation. He told me I wasn't fast enough. So Jed Gibson found out about it, came down and says, "I'll let you run. You can play football and other sports at BYU." So 9th grade is called freshman year. So after I won the BYU Invitation, I took the article from the paper down to Bob Collins and told him to put it in his trophy case. But I'm thankful that he asked me to come back. I appreciate it. I love my days here. Incident where I left, parents moved to Orem, so I went to Orem High, where I met my wife, Gail Bellows, and she was really instrumental in changing my life around. If you guys know, I didn't study too hard, and she got me doing that and some other things. And we have 16 we have 7 children. We have 7 children. We have 16 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. And the grandchildren call me Papa. I love that. It's just so exciting to be with them. I taught school at Altamont High School, North Fork High School, and retired from Lone Peak High School. My daughter is now the head track coach there, and she's convinced my wife that I need to help her. So I told her I would for a year, teach her all the ropes. She cried. She said, Dad won 3 state championships, several regions. So he's got to help me. So I said, okay, I will help you for just 1 year. And I just finished my 5th year, and I guess I'm going to sign a contract for my 6th, so she's a slow learner. But thanks for having me back.
When I was just a young boy, I remember the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Every time the bell rang, angels got it. Thank you for allowing a whole bunch of angels to come down. Love you, brother. You know, I remember one of my biggest disappointments at BY High is I went up to Brother Webb and I said, Brother Webb, I've got to register for classes this next year. I'm having a tough time deciding between industrial arts and choir. And he says, oh, Brother Cooper, don't let choir get in your way. It never has. I want all of you to know how much I appreciate and love you. What a wonderful association for those few short years that has carried with me throughout my life and has helped me. I had 3 wonderful years with you. Then I moved to Pocatello High School my senior year, and I found my eternal bride there. So life's been good. I want you to know how much I look at you and see quality people who represent the gospel of Jesus Christ in all that you represent with your families, with your lives. How blessed we are to have association with one another. Thank you so very much.
Tried to get Paul to go first, but he said, go ahead. Brenton took both of the stories that I was going to tell you. Somebody once said that you can't look back, or you shouldn't. You can't go home again. Don't live in the past. But you all make it so hard. And I miss all of you all the time. And I look back and I think of you and this wonderful place, this monument that Monroe and Shirley made possible. Thank you, Paxmans. And it helps us remember memories and go back to things that have affected us the rest of our lives. You were brothers and sisters, and you still are to me in so many different ways. And I really think about that. I miss my favorite teacher, Aunt Jean. I miss my favorite coach, Courtney. I miss the gym on the 3rd floor, but I don't miss laps on the stairs. And I don't miss the cold showers. But most of all, I miss each one of you. And the love that you showed me. The friendship that we felt every day as we came to school. The excitement to come every day. To be in these halls. And to be friends. And brothers and sisters. And I thank you for that. For the past and for the future. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody.
It was interesting listening to some of the other class members that came late in our youth to BY High and their perceptions. But I want to get something straight. When my mom told me the summer between the 9th and 10th grade after I'd gone to Central Junior High, you're going to BY High, I thought my life was over. Mom, I can't go to BY High, all those goody two-shoes, stuck-up college professor kids. When I found out Ken was coming with me to BY High, that kind of eased the pain a little because we've been good friends in junior high. And as it turned out, Ken spoke well about the BY High experience. I look back fondly to those days and to the lasting friendships that were formed. A couple of them particularly who aren't here tonight, Dave Clark and Dave Beck, two of my best and closest friends that I had the good fortune to stay close to right through to the end of their days here on earth, and I miss them to this day. BY High was a unique experience. It was probably one of the better things that happened in my young life coming here. And I'm going to take a few extra seconds because I'm speaking for Tom in absentia. And he wishes that he could have been here tonight. He was planning on it. I was with him a couple of nights ago in St. George at the hospital where he had pneumonia. And he was in pretty bad shape. But I talked with him last night, and he just said he wasn't up to making the trip, or he would have been here. He was truly looking forward to it. Kent and Tom and I joined the Army just after BY High. And people accuse us of joining the Army or the National Guard to get out of going to Vietnam. In actual fact, it was to get out of Provo. Believe me, I love Provo. A number of you have probably heard me say, truly in jest, that the best thing that ever came out of Utah County was I-15. And yet, in truth, Leonie and I, in the last couple of years, built a home in Utah County, and we're semi-located back in Saratoga Springs. And who would have guessed? I mean, I was joking with Carolyn at the table a few minutes ago that Provo is like a narcotic. It's like the great old Eagles song, the last line of which is, you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. And truly that is Provo. It's a great place. It was a great place to grow up. We have fond memories. We were very fortunate to be at this institution, and I had the privilege of associating in a small measure with Shirley Paxman in trying to save this building, going before the city council a few times, and actually the state legislature as well when I was a member of the Earth Science Museum board here, to try and pry money out of anybody to save this building. And Brother Smoot, to his great credit, was able to step forward and shepherd that process through it, but along with the help of many other dedicated people from this area, from the program, from this institution. And that pretty much wraps it up. Again, I'm happy to be here tonight and to be able to see old friends. Tom had a message. Ruth Halliday isn't here, but he said if Ruth is there, just tell her I still want to date her.
have two tables come up and down and find this table as well.
I'm Bruce Cameron, and I was only here my senior year. My dad moved from Logan to Provo between my junior and senior year, and I was not happy about moving. As a matter of fact, I asked my parents if I could stay in Logan for my senior year, and of course they said no. The great friends that I had here and the experience that I had here made all the difference to me. I want to thank you all for the friendship and the great memories that I had while I was here and that I have maintained since. I remember an incident that occurred maybe in the spring or the summer after we graduated. Remember, it used to be when there weren't so many stoplights on Center Street, we used to drag Center. And one night we were driving down Center Street, and I don't remember who it was, but it could have been Francis, could have been Les, Paul, Paul Van Wagenen, Jed. It could have been any one of 3 or 4 or 5 of you who aren't here. And we were in 2 separate cars, and we saw each other driving down Center Street and started to yell at each other as we would pass. We passed 3 or 4 times and decided that we were going to fake a gang fight. And we all pulled off on the side of the road over in front of J.C. Penney. And we jumped out, and we were actually swinging at each other and fake, and all of a sudden the lights started to flash, and the policeman drove up, and he was going to arrest all of us. And I remember one of us, maybe it was me, who said, "Talk to that guy over there in the back seat." That's Francis Rogers. He was a student body president at BY High. And the officer went over, opened the door, and said to Francis, "Do you know these guys?" And of course Francis said, "I never saw them before."
Yeah, I remember the night we graduated and some police pulled me over, and there were 4 or 5 kids that graduated with me. He went back to talk to them instead of me, but I had bib overalls on, so joke we were doing that night. Anyway, I've got a lot of good memories of this school too. This was enjoyable for me. I went here 6 years. I'd never heard of it until my father told me about it. And when they closed the school, years later, my brothers and sisters, we'd all gone here. And my dad loved the teachers that were here. He loved the administrators that were here. He loved the students that were here. And this became the inspiration for what became American Heritage School, which is now by the Temple over in American Fork, where you could have control the type of teachers that you had control of the type of students that you had. He was so impressed with what went on here. That was his inspiration. When I came in here, I was greeting people, saying hi to them, and taking my memories back, and I thought, isn't this great? And I didn't have any emotional problems until I went over and saw the ones that had died. And I thought about their friends, those people that were my friends that were not there, or not here tonight. I've got a lot of good memories here. This is a great school. You're my friends. This was a great place to grow up. As others have said, well, I've been happy to say I went to BY High School. Great school. Thank you. Steve, are you alone at your table?
Let others decide that.
I'm Steve O'Branson, and I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for being inclusive, to include those of us who didn't make it all the way to the senior year. The greatest trauma, one of the greatest traumas of my young life, was our family moving halfway through our junior year to Chicago. I graduated from school with 4,500 students, 1,100 in our senior class. And Margaret was in our class, but she's not nearly as late as any of you folks are, so glad to be here. I'm also glad to see some of our administrators and our second parents, the Paxmans. Dr. Berries has changed my life. As we started 9th grade, I said to him, at the prompting of my father, I get enough church instruction on Sunday, I'd like to take an academic class instead of seminary. And I knew, even as a 14-year-old, I knew that was a hard question for him, because how was he going to say, don't take an academic class? But he very wisely said, Steve, why don't you just try it out for a few days? Let's see what happens. And Alan Anderson, our teacher, captured my heart, my spirit. That was the source of my testimony. I did learn something new, actually, in the carols, to be honest with you. I learned a new vocabulary word in the math class from Mr. Thompson. This is actually true. It's the first time I had ever heard the word insubordination. I actually had to go home and look that up. The best decision I ever made in my life was quite late in life. In 1976, at age 30, to propose to the beautiful June Lawrence, a returned missionary, and she grew up in Louisiana, and very grateful that she's still with me tonight. Thanks, Ellen. Honor to be one to me.
I started at BY Lab School in kindergarten and went through 10th grade, and the carols did me in. And I remember sitting in Dr. Mary S.'s office because I was on kind of probation and I couldn't march with the high steppers if I didn't get my grades in algebra then. I don't know one thing about algebra. Anyway, I survived. And then I went to Provo High the last 2 years, but I have such fond memories of my 11 years at this institution, and then went on to go to BYU. Gus Clark was my hero. As I took education classes, I remember them saying, you ever have a teacher that touched your life, and you know, what did they do? He really was an influence on my life, and I know we all love him and wish that he was here with us tonight. And just the fabulous teachers, and I remember Mr. Allred. I thought he was so handsome, and 7th grade man. And then in 7th grade, on the 3rd floor gym floor, Jan Gibson and Frank Arnold, we had this 7th grade thing, and we had to have a bat and turn around the bat, and I got so dizzy that I fell over, and I was so mortified, and it was hard for me to cheer for Frank Arnold after that. I love neighbors, and it's so fun to see you all and be with you and renew those memories.
I'm Carol Westover Clark. I too started at the lab school in kindergarten, went all through 6th grade and 7th grade, and then at the encouragement of my older siblings who were in public school, I transferred to public school. But it was a good thing because I met my future husband. We didn't marry, we didn't even start dating until I was a senior in high school, however. We had a good life together. I too remember Gus Clark. He made us all feel so intelligent and encouraged us. We just thought we were the smartest kids that ever lived. But I remember lots of many teachers. Faye Buttle in 7th grade, she was a good teacher. And Mr. Allred too, I like that class. But so many of you, I remember you. I was a little nervous about coming, but I remember so many of you, and I feel like I have some forever friends. Thank you for your kindness and your love, and for inviting us to come who left to public school. And I still feel like very much a part of this group. Thank you.
A few months ago, we were invited to a high school reunion for our children. I think it was 10 or 12 years old, kids that had gone to Holland Hall in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And because we had 5 kids who were there, we were kind of famous parents. There weren't that many that had 5 kids in a private school. grade, so I guess that doesn't really count, but sort of. It was a lot of fun, I think, but my life has just been so full of so many things that I've had so much fun, and it's really kind of interesting to come back and say hi to people that it's been so long since I've seen, and it's pretty special to see you all. And just want to say hi, and thanks for including me.
I'm Carolyn Paxton Bentley, and I'd like everyone who began at BYU Lab School in kindergarten to stand up. Okay. Great. Jan, of course. Well, we had the best, thanks, of all teachers, I think, throughout our entire school lives. I know Gus Clark would be here if he could be tonight. He would not be able to stay away. And in his memory, and in the memory of all these lovely faces, all these lovely people who have already gone, graduated, so to speak, I'd like a moment of silence, just to think about them. We would just do that for 15 seconds. I think all of us were stunned to see that many faces over there. And to David's, just such a vital part of our high school, our whole growing up experience. Excuse me. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to talk about how odd I think it is that while we're sitting in the carols, Montevani music poured over us. Love letters straight from the heart. It was just the most bizarre. It was a bizarre setup anyway, but I remember most of my memories of high school have to do with music. Fred Webb, Montevani. I don't know why they thought that was good study music. Anyone do any research on that? I just had no idea, but I can clearly remember Montevani playing behind their study. The other great musical memory I have, besides singing in a small ensemble, was the end of the year concert with Fred Webb. All the junior high kids and everything. We sang, what was it, the closing one? Sanctus. Do you remember that? Do you remember that at all? That will forever be in my brain canon. And I love the memory of that. I've heard it since. And I never fail to be excited about it. We learned those parts from Fred Webb. What a dear soul. I am so happy to see you all. I am beyond fortunate to go to a high school where we know each other's faces and names. And thank you for flashing all of them up here to remind us just how far we've fallen. Anyway, just such a great night, and I am so happy to see my fellow elementary school and middle school friends here. It's just so great, Sally. Thank you for making sure that they came and for hunting everyone down. And she knows about everything about everyone. And I really appreciate that, and the whole committee. Bless your hearts. Appreciate it, and give them another hand.
We forgot those people.
Okay, everybody who hasn't come up and sit on these chairs. We want to know when the thinking's going to be over.
up in our nice little party dresses. And Rebecca and I showed up in costumes. I was a clown with my cheeks painted red. She was a witch. And the activity for the party was to go downtown to a movie. And fortunately, I had a dress on under my clown costume, and I remember Sister Paxman taking me in their bathroom, getting a wet washcloth and just scrubbing the makeup off my face. But Rebecca had to go to the movie in her witch costume. Anyway, it's been really fun to work on the committee, and it's been fun to come and see everybody here.
Jeannie put together the books that you're going to get as a favor afterwards. She spent hours and hours doing that.
I'm Mary Barnett Linnell, and I wasn't going to come tonight, but Sally Joyce is very persistent. I met her at a wedding last year, and we talked about this, and I'm here, and I'm so glad I am, because it's been so fun to visit with all of you and see familiar faces. It brought back so many wonderful memories. I, too, was there from kindergarten through 10th grade, and loved it, and feel like you were the true friends that I will remember. Provo High was big, and we kind of all stuck together. Those of us who were from BY High kind of stuck together there, so we probably just should have stayed. But I appreciate being here, and it's been wonderful to see you, and I'm grateful for the years I spent with BY High.
I was trying to hide. I was one of the ones that left in the 10th grade, went over to Provo High, Reader Masters. And coming back here is just, it's like I never left. I saw, we were down in the underground coming in tonight, saw a car drive by, and a woman looking out, and said, "Is that Westover?" I have not seen her since we graduated, I guess. And it was so good to see everybody up here, and it just seems like we hardly ever left. I'm Rebecca Bailey, Rebecca Smith Bailey, and so glad to see you, Paul. It's great to see you. He was my neighbor for how many years?
Not enough.
Oh, that's nice. Sally Joyce and Olivia, wherever she is. It's so, and Bev and Jeannie. I was over there and I saw what Jeannie did. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. See you later.
This has been just a splendid evening, a wonderful occasion. Our hearts have been warmed and melted by the friendships and associations that we've had over so many years. We thank you so much for coming. I have a couple of announcements to make. We're going to invite each of you to look on the back of your chairs, and if you happen to find a number or a ticket or something, that means that you are the proud winner of the flower arrangement, so beautifully done by Pam Hoover Robert, I think. And we're grateful for that. So you get to take the flower arrangement. If you don't want it, you can give it to someone else. Also, you find on the tables a number of photographs of memories of BY High School and people. If you'd like to take one of those, you're welcome to take the photographs that are on the table. And if you want to fight over it, you can do that outside in the hall. We have the Provo police on tap if there's any disputations or disruptions. It's been wonderful. Now let's see. We're going to have, if it's all right with you and it's all right with me, an invocation tonight, or a benediction on this evening. You've stayed here a long time and had plenty to eat, but we'd like to have a little closing prayer. And then we encourage any of you, all of you, to stay and mingle and meet and visit. We have the hall arranged until 10:30 p.m. At 10:30, at that point, we'll clean up and put away. But right now, do not put tablecloths away or put tables away. That will all be taken care of. So we're going to visit. We have some refreshments over here with lemonade and caramel popcorn. You're welcome to mingle and visit with anyone you like. Now, Sally, what else have I forgotten? Oh yes, we have a booklet for each one of the former classmates or graduates of the high school class. That will be distributed here with your name on it over on this table. What else? Mention was made of our friend Paul Van Wagner. 2 or 3 years ago, he was in Provo. He took the effort and time to come and visit me in my home. And he was so kind and so gracious and so wonderful and brought me a wonderful little gift. I mentioned being anonymous, and I know that he doesn't want any acclaim or anything, but he has had resources and he's been so generous and so supportive of this event, and his spirit and his fun-loving attitude will always be with us. I remember him as we were in the carols trying to concentrate. He would begin his little rap called Genie's on the Beat, yeah, Genie's on the Beat. That means Brother Genie was out looking around to find out who was giving trouble. I can remember his voice singing out. Wow, what a character. So many others of our class, wonderful people. You know, 2 Davids were mentioned among others. So many people have gone on. David Beck helped me with my arithmetic back in elementary school. And David Clark was the best man at my wedding, and he's still the best man. And I'm grateful for all my associations with each of you. Anything else? Okay, that's it. Now we have another reunion scheduled 5 years from now, on August something, in 5 years. And we'd like to have any of you who'd like to assist with that reunion, write down on the back of your card, and we'll get that information. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. God bless each one of you. We would like to call on Sister Olivia Smith-Baird to come forward and give our benediction on this wonderful occasion.
Before I say the closing prayer, I'd like to thank George for all he's done. I mean, we've had so much help, and he's been an excellent resource. He's a willing worker. He's made great decisions, so we really appreciate his help. Thank you. I'm not going to take too long, but I also want to thank, and some of these started out with this, and you know how life happens and things change, and you have a heart attack or something else. So some of these other people, I'm not sure they got mentioned, but I would just take for a minute. Mary Anderson, Judy Johns, Gail Mary Christensen, Charlene Stone, Pam Hoover, Robert. I know she did good luck with ours, and I wish that she was able to be here. Well, I particularly wanted to thank the husbands, my husband Charles Baird and Sally's husband Michael Bradshaw. They have been invaluable. Okay. And thank you for all that you've done. I know it's a long trip for many of you, and you've sacrificed time and effort, and it's been a real treat to see you all again and to visit with you. And I'll now close. Our kind Heavenly Father, we are so blessed to meet together again, and we thank you for the opportunity to do so. We pray that we'll have safety in our travels home. We pray that we'll be able to have the health and strength that we need to do that well. We are so grateful for thy each of our friends and teachers and leaders that have helped guide us and being able to be closer to Thee and do the right thing. We say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.